Afternoon, everyone. I just got back from squad goals, and since I have the day off, I figured I might as well make a video about my experience. So the Meat Men did win. We ended up taking it from Gripper at Ripper this year. We got to play them in the finals. You can go watch the game on stream. You know, had a great time meeting everybody, seeing people again. Obviously, to Johnny and Curtis being on their team, and then all the rest of the Meat Men who we got to meet for the first time after chatting for a long time. But yeah, in this video, we'll just talk about my roster that I took. I'll talk a little bit about the games, maybe little changes I'd make, things I really liked, stuff like that. I'm sure I'll make other videos to go into specific things at some point. But yeah, let's let it go. So this is the roster I ended up taking. It's not that different from maybe the last video I post on this. I think I made these changes maybe a week before lists were due. Like during that week, I was like debating a sixth threat and all this other stuff. And then I ended up basically saying, okay, I don't want Cat anymore. I'm going to take Iron Fist as my affiliated three. I was convinced in talking to Torb and as well as my own thoughts from a little bit before that I think Iron Fist would be a better three than Cat for what I want to do. Bullseye came in because I didn't know what else to put there. Well, not that. That's not true. There were some setups where I wanted a two threat, and I think Wong is fucking trash and Sons. To be completely honest with you, I only used him once, but there are some teams I like with him, like going really wide. I think things like it never came up, but I think 17s that are a little bit more aggressive, like Blade, Danny, Mummy, Red Skull, Bullseye can like put a lot of pressure on people. Like, yeah, you're not like this straight like stealing extract type team, but you get a lot of attacks, you do a lot of damage, you have some defensive abilities. And then Hella came in, so she was the only one that wasn't used, but she was in the Bill slot. When I was gonna use her, I feel like Bill wouldn't be as useful, right? So you can say, okay, for deadlines and stuff, she's more useful, or he's more useful, but I wasn't gonna play him on deadlines in a lot of setups. So for me, so where I was gonna use Hella the most, and it just never came up, was like I have meters in my roster because of the team format, like meteors hammers, which I did two practice games of, where you have priority because you're assuming it's your meters, where she can go grab like safe grab a hammer and like kind of walk backwards, or go and flip the other point because she's good on pay to flips. She's pretty good on hammers because she's actually useful turn two. So imagine a world where like you safe grab a hammer and walk backwards behind like the meteor world. Like if you're Bill, you're starting turn two with two power and okay, you can walk up and maybe throw a 6 die attack. If you're her, like you could throw two 7 dice mystic attacks if you want, depending on where the enemy is. She has a lot more mobility and heals. She has a better threat range. Like if somebody, like even this doesn't matter, but if you're setting up like a counter safe grab, and like if somebody takes raw grabs in front of Bill, you're pretty sad because like you can walk, bump, get a 5 dice attack on them, and maybe get power to throw. But like Hella can like walk, do the little walk thing towards them, attack them. It just feels better. Again, it didn't come up much. I only played her 2 games in practice, but that was her purpose, like meteors, hammers, and then I guess if I got stuck 17 against webs, I would run Blade, Voodoo, Mummy, Hella, Bullseye. Was that 17? 6? Yeah, that's 17. Where everybody does damage. I have 2 range for Mystic attackers. Voodoo has a steal. So that was the idea there. Because, like, if you take, like, Rhino Wong, Wong's just so useless in that matchup. And Rhino's fine and good. I have no problem with people taking Rhino. But just for what I wanted, she had a little bit more uses. So never came up, didn't matter. But that's why people ask me where I would use her. Like, those kind of matches. Danny was really good, and we'll talk about it more when I talk about the games. But he was the one that, like, I thank God I put him in. I played him 4 times, and he was very impactful. Here was my cards. Grievous Wounds doesn't matter. It was a free slot. The idea was APOC, and even when I played APOC, I didn't take it. I don't think it could be whatever. It could be Warpath. I don't know. If you have another character card, I think the rest of them are all good. I never used Recal. That was it. I used all the other cards. Recon and Grievous Wounds I never used. Recal probably should be in there, and I have some theories around like One Below All and stuff I kind of want to talk about. These were my things. So I normally have hammers. I put in senators because I like the way they play, and there's only so many secures crisis left. I gave back. So like I might have scrolls and virus in this list. I think I think Suns can do a lot of things. I didn't feel particularly limited or restricted on the extract side. Like I could take virus, I could take scrolls, I could take these three. I took ship to give Curtis back scrolls because he was better on it. He said, alien ship is probably the one I wouldn't take unless it was a team format. I think senators, hammers. I'd pick some of the other ones. Fist deadline meteors. Meteors was again kind of for the team format. Not that like you could say extremists would be good. There's some other ones like wedding parties that people were playing. Intrusions. I couldn't take either of those. Curtis had those. I don't think there's anything like we're truly like horrendous at. Maybe there's some we're worse at. I can't think off the top of my head. Maybe pay to flips, but these are fine. We wanted to do it to like if I got paired into like webs or like X-Men or something, like if they don't have like a down the middle plan, then my secures don't feel good for them. So they're definitely IHawk leaning secures. I don't think I ran IHawk 4 of 5 games. I don't think you have to play that way. I think like Nobility went 2Ds and then he had Fisk. In fact, you know what? I think there's a world out there where you drop Fisk. I really do. I really think there's a world where you could drop Fisk. I think people are getting savvier and people are starting to I've said this before. I don't think that 16 Fisk is the same 15 researcher problem of old or Gamma 15 problem. It scores pretty fast. It's still fighty, of course, a little more dynamic, but I don't think the 16 of like IHawk Red Skull Blade is unbeatable. And in fact, I think people are getting smarter and splashing things and playing the game in a different way that is, we'll say, punishing or countering that strategy a little bit. And so I don't know. On one hand, I still think we're very good at it, and maybe there's other solutions, but there's also a world where like having priority on it is not maybe ideal, and people will get better about it. So I could see dropping it. Deadline was good. I played 10 different Crisis in this event, so like all my games were different Crisis and 5 different affiliations I played against. So I think we'll go over the games. This was my roster, and then I'll tell you some ideas about maybe what I would change. So these are my 5 games I played. I did go 5-0. 2 of the games are streamed. This game versus Tanner and this game versus Sooner is on the Taco Truck Vince's channel. You can see stuff here. I'll just go through quickly what I ran on each one, starting at the bottom. So I played versus Winter Guard. He had Crimson Dynamo, Red Guardian, Omega Red, Abomination, and Rhino, and I had Blade, IHawk, Danny, Man-Thing, Mummy. And the big thing here was to start off on the Danny train. There was a turn where he was ahead a little bit just because of some pay-to-flip stuff. I didn't feel like I was behind or anything, but he was just ahead early because of a pay-to-flip and the scrolls we checked too. Where I sieged, and the way the damage worked out with like who I was throwing and who I was attacking, he had 1 health A-Bomb, 1 health Red Guardian, and 1 health Rhino, and Danny went. So I did the siege at the top of the turn, and then when that happened, Danny went, and Danny fisted A-Bomb, or Omega Red, activated Omega Red, dazed A-Bomb, killed Red Guardian, killed Rhino, and then during my turn, because all he had left after that was Crimson Dynamo off to the side, I killed Omega Red, and so he only had A-Bomb and Dynamo left, and I finished, and I scored like 6-0, 6-1 or something to finish out the game. So he was up like 7-5, I think, and then I swung turn, and it cascaded into the next turn because not only did I basically have no one he couldn't activate, but I got to kill Omega Red because he couldn't retaliate, and I just had my whole team to go. Kind of a similar thing in the APOC game. Like, we started off strong. Like, I dazed Danny, who grabbed a midline. Oh, so he had APOC, Wolverine, Sabretooth, Iceman, Toad. I had Blade, Red Skull, Danny, Mummy, Bullseye, because it was 19, so I took one threat left for my other team. And so here, I grab something with Mummy. He grabs with Iceman. Ihawk dazes Iceman, takes his virus. Apocalypse one-shots Mummy, takes his virus. And then, I safe grab. I use Danny to grab the one in the middle and bump back. His turn 2 starts off pretty well because I do something with Mummy. And then we have Iceman and Sabretooth next to Hulk and Blade. Iceman spenders Hulk, and I'm going to deal with it. If I get staggered, I can probably still kill Iceman through, like, the stuff I had with Blade there. But he misses the stagger, but does, like, 7 damage to Ihawk. Then he does the spender again, and I sack it to Blade, being like, okay, well, if he staggers Blade, at least I can clear it with my thing. And he staggers Blade, but does, like, 5 damage to Blade as well. I'm like, holy shit, like, my whole flank over there is, like, not good. Blade kills Danny, or kills Iceman. Some things happen, and essentially what happens is the same kind of swing turn. I do some damage to Apocalypse. I think I kill Sabretooth with, like, some stuff. I get to go with priority, and with Siege, I get Sabretooth down to 1 health. I get Apocalypse down to 1 health, and then I fist Wolverine to activate him, and so I kill Sabretooth, daze APOC, activate Wolverine, who then gets dazed. All he has to go is Toad, who dazes Blade, but he has to daze Blade or else I'm going to score 10 and win, because I can assemble the virus if I want to on Ihawk. I didn't, because I would have been like 1 short of winning. And while I think I could have got the 1 point, because like he had 3 models and I had 4, I didn't want to risk like him dazing everything and then me not getting a point. So I said the safer way was just to like go up really high and run away with Mummy, so that like he basically had to chase off the points. Like he dazed APOC or Ihawk, but didn't matter by that point. I just had too many. So again, the swing turn of Siege into activate to where the enemy only gets to go with Toad, and then you can set up everybody else. Like that's your first activation. You can set up everybody else for the next turn to like close out the game. It happened in practice games as well, like in the TTS League. I set up a swing turn where I was down like 12-9, but everybody either activated or dazed or died at the top of my turn, and I got to score 7 and win while I score 0 or 1. Because again, this happened like 4 or 5 times, and like 3 times in practice games, and like almost 3 or 4 times in the squad goals. Against Tanner, that one's on the stream. Danny didn't need to fist. Tanner was trying to do the same thing to me, where like set up the siege into to activate to kind of do his swing turn. It didn't work out. He forgot about sack, so he kept attacking Ihawk with all his siege models. And then when he went to fist Ihawk, I sacked it to Danny, who had 1 health left. He killed Danny, and then Ihawk like killed 2 of his models, and the game was over there. I do think, I wasn't down enough to where the swing turn was going to end the game, because I was up like 12-4 or something. So I feel like if he did that turn, I probably would have just did it right back to him on the top of the next turn. So I still felt okay. I was like, even if he does this correctly and dazes those 2, I felt like I was going to get to go in my turn, potentially do like a 5-person siege into activate and win the game on the next turn. So, but you can watch it on stream. The next one into Kingpin on Fisk. It was Kingpin, Rhino, Namor, Bullseye, Zemo versus Hulk, Blade, Voodoo, Danny. This was a lot of, he went up 10-2 because he scored both Fisk and a Montesi each turn. Some of that I can't stop because I just can't put enough people on the midline. Some of it was me being, we'll say, greedier. So like one thing is I didn't move the Fisks back towards myself. I moved them on top of him so to do damage. I think in hindsight, I would have moved them backwards. I think the damage I did was not relevant enough. And forcing him to like go behind me would have been better. Because even if I'm not standing on it, he's not standing on it. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like where I put them was a little bit greedy because I was trying to do damage, and I said I'm gonna press forward and try to kill a lot of models. And there was a couple of mistakes I made with like a throw I did was bad, and I forgot somebody was injured, so it wasn't contesting, which kind of hurt me. But the only thing I would have done, the big thing I would have done differently that game is I would have tried to be a little bit better about slowing down the scoring instead of like using it to speed it up. Because it's kind of this weird like attrition point thing where if you can win the attrition battle but lose on be too far behind on points to come back. And if you keep it close, even if you're going for the tabling, then like especially on Fisk, you could like turn the game to where like, oh, now you're in control of the scoring because you got all the points back, and now he can't just pick up an extract and run away. He has to come back and get you off the points, and so like it swings what they have to do. I had some good attacks here. I think I had another swing turn where I didn't have priority because he all according to plan, but his Rhino didn't kill anybody and did some stuff. And then so his Rhino activated. No one's dead yet. And then with my siege, I kill Bullseye. I get Namor down to 1. I get Zemo down to 2. I fist what's his name? Kingpin to activate him and put Zemo on 2 life and Namor dazed. I think in hindsight, I might have should have just tried to kill Zemo with the fist and say, okay, you only get to attack. So instead of getting, because Zemo like got to do his full clip into Voodoo and almost kill him, and then run away to a corner to where Voodoo had to like. Luckily, I had to burn bats and stuff to like go kill him. Where if I just take out, Zemo or at least activate him, he can't move and like iHawk can finish him off. It just would feel a little different. Like if he could only go with Kingpin, I'd probably feel a little better. But I kill Rhino, I kill Zemo, and then I have iHawk on 10 life left, and he charges me with, what's his name? Namor. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And he spends me to make me drop my asset. I think he's going to grab the asset and run, and he does like 7 with his spender, and I'm like, oh shit. And then he only does 2 with the follow-up attack, and I survive and kill Namor and kill Kingpin and win out. So that one, it was a great game. I mean, everyone I played was very nice. But that's the one where I'm like, ooh, I might have wanted to do some different stuff, and he played very well. I think like when I attacked Bullseye at turn 2 and did like 1 damage, we had 2 health left, and I should have just burned bats to kill him. Stuff like that, where I should have just burned bats, committed, just kill him, because he had an extract, and he double walked and took a point. So he got like, it was like a 5-point swing. Like if I bats him, I get the secure, he drops his Montesi, which maybe I can even pick up. I don't remember where I was. I probably could because I probably could get it. And yeah, it was just bad. I should have just killed him. It would have gave him prio. He wouldn't have had to burn all according to plan, but who knows what would have happened from there. Who knows? But then the score wouldn't have been 10-2. It would have been, that got him 3 points, so he would have had 7 to, I would have got maybe even 4 or 3 more. It would have been like 7-5, and it would have slowed the game down, and my attrition was landing. I was already like dazed Rhino, dazed Zemo, dazed Bullseye, all that kind of crap. Yeah, and then sooner, that game's on stream. He played Hulkbuster Hulk, Psylocke Beast. I played, this is the one on the Hulk game. I played Blade, Red Skull 2, Mummy, Zemo, Voodoo. Probably the big thing here is this is kind of where I go back to the Fisk thing, where people are getting smarter and having good anti-Fisk plans. Because Sooner just had to, like, he had a normal X-Men list, and all he had to really do was add Hulkbuster. And so at 16, he could go Hulkbuster, Hulk, Psylocke. And Psylocke and Hulkbuster are good against Red Skull because Psylocke types, whichever defense he's not good at. Hulkbuster, if you're not going in energy, if you're in energy form, then you're susceptible to all the throws. And if you're in the throw form, you're bad against energy. Obviously, I still took him into that, but it wasn't like as reliant because Blade's also bad versus iHawk from getting attacked from it, or sorry, Hulkbuster getting attacked from it. So I won priority and picked my extracts so that I didn't have to play a midline thing where at least if I went wider like I did, I would at least have some scenario maybe advantage. Watch the game. In the end, like he does a nice turn one thing, but he gets really close to me and he passes to give me priority, and then I just make the decision there that I'm gonna start attacking him, and it's gonna be easier for me because he's already taller than me. Blade's low. Like my people are definitely killable. I don't have very like I'm pretty squishy. So like he can easily kill somebody. Okay, I don't get to go with them. Maybe I do something. It's hard to take down Hulks really fast. He retains prio. Rinse and repeat. And still has enough control and movement. Like with three of the guys can throw and like hit and run and leap to where he can keep the points flipped. So yeah, if you watch the game, I burn Cosmic Obliteration turn 2, give the Hulks Incinerate, Siege immediately to do a bunch of damage. Blade goes, Spenders attacks, get in sack range of Red Skull. He has to. Hulk's like on 11 damage. Hulkbuster has like 5 damage on him or something. I forget. Maybe only 4 at this point because I switch targets. He goes with Hulk, Spenders Red Skull, sack into Blade. Okay, Blade dies. He runs away because he's standing in front of Red Skull with like 9 health, incinerated. And then Red Skull and the Grunts blow up Hulkbuster with some good rolls, but you gotta roll. I still have the mouths, and then like I hunt down his Hulk, and the game ends there. So all in all, fun games. Got to play different lists. Heavy Eyehawk, but that's just because I took secures that were pretty Eyehawk focused, and like versus Apocalypse, I felt like I had to take him. 2 games on stream. Go watch it. Pretty happy with the list. I don't know if there's any motto I'd change. Probably the one thing I did a lot less in this tournament than I do in practice games leading up was safe grabbing. I felt I really did like the Iron Fist pseudo safe grab a couple times. I kind of set up for the Zemo safe grab in game 1, but chose to do a Mummy a raw grab with Mummy first and said, okay, well, I'll raw grab with Mummy because I feel like he's pretty safe in cover where he was. And it kind of relied, like, it forced him, air quotes, to take one with Beast, or I was going to safe grab it myself. And he took it, and then I started attacking instead. And actually holding I'm in a Baron ended up working out really well. I just kind of... There's just some of these games where, like, when you safe grab with Red Skull 2, it just feels bad. Like, it just feels... I don't want to say safe grabbing is unnecessary. There are definitely times where it's very strong. But I just don't feel like the game needs it all the time. Like, going down 1 point, like doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter a lot of the time. Like, you're better off... Like, if you waste a high threat model that could potentially do something, like, later in the turn, like, I think that's worth a victory point. So, like, if I had safe grab with Red Skull and then safe grab with Zemo, and, like, sure, I get an extra extract and then I get, like, walk, throw, or walk, attack, buster shit, like, in my face, and then I don't get to do any damage. Now, to be fair, with my whole squad, I made 5 attacks turn 1 in the Sooner game and did, like, 5 damage. Now, I made up for it turn 2 by doing a lot more damage, so it's not like I got a ton of value out of my early attacks. But the same idea remains of, like, I don't know. I've just found more games where I'm more willing to, like, raw grab stuff and, like, force the issue, but also not... Like, you're going to have to play the game. Like, if they come at you and you're up 1... None of my games... Let me rephrase this. None of my games, except maybe the Kingpin... Well, I was down in the Kingpin game. Like, came down to, like, whether I got 1 or more point turn 1. Like, games 1, 2, 3 basically ended on, like, big swing turns by me, or swing turn into a failed counter swing turn, which I could have probably swung it back. So, like, the 1 or 2 point didn't matter turn 1, but setting up for turn 2 and 3 to be better and making attacks, getting some damage on people to really swing it just felt like more important. So I could see cutting Zemo from the squad, because I guess in the game I played with Red Skull, he could just be another 3. Like, I'm more willing to take more affiliated. The card taxes a lot too. I'm starting to feel it a bit more. Again, the same idea. You're using a card and an activation of a good model to basically like get an extract lead that is semi safer. But it's like in that situation, I grab with Mummy. You'll see it in the Sinner game. I grab with Mummy. If he doesn't grab, like it's not like his punish is like that insane into somebody way out on the side on sword or on McCrane. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it was necessary. I don't know what I would put in for him. Maybe a different four. But yeah, really like this squad. Really like this team. I don't think I would make any immediate change. I would still probably do the Zima stuff and just adapt how I play. In the real world, I might even drop Fisk or for something else. I mean, there's a lot of things you can play. Yeah, I don't know. I really like the roster. I really like the roster. Um, really liked all my opponents. I don't know what else to say. Take Danny. That's it. I'll probably have a video on Danny himself, but like Danny has truly been like a key model. Having the second card on top of Sack to Heroes has been. I probably held Heroes too long a couple times, but having the option to like save Blade from getting like dunked, like here's the thing. Danny's the type of model that think of him like a Koye in a sense. Like if you can Heroes for Hire and then sack an attack and he dies before he activates, assuming he didn't have like 8 power and could activate somebody, it's almost all good. You're taking hits, you're gaining power, and you're going to probably potentially retain priority for a swing turn. And he might not even die depending on the type of attacks people are throwing at him. Also, don't be scared of like range 4 energy attacks. Like just fucking take him. He dies anyway. Like the fact that he can wake up and like come back is really good. But if you're saving Blade from dying, Blade has a much higher output on the non. Like Danny dying is fine. Like you don't want to like sack into Voodoo and then they both die, or Blade dies and you don't get to do, because Blade can do a lot of damage. So I don't know. It was just he was just really good, and I highly suggest him. I do want more Man Thing games. I did play him twice, and he was good. No complaints. I did some cool teleport stuff. I guess again one of the Man Thing games on stream. He did his thing. He was unfortunately the 2 games he came out was against Winter Guard, which obviously I knew they could get rid of Incinerate, but you still can be proactive with it, because if you incinerate them with Man Thing, if they don't go with that model, or if they've only activated that model, then you're gonna get your Incinerate. But he also liked the teleport and healing factor on meteors is good. So he was a good model when I used him. Mummy was the only model other than Blade I used every single game. And he was obviously no, I didn't use him in the one game. Never mind. No, Blade's the only one I used every game. Mummy I used 4 times. He was very good. Yeah. Use Danny. Hella can be whoever, I don't care. Zemo can probably even be there or not be there. Bullseye, I like him in some 2s. I'd still take Red Skull. Maybe drop. Oh yeah, I want to talk about One Below All real quick. I think there's a world where you don't take One Below All as much. And my reasoning is it's hard to really like point this out, like really think about it. So if you're using One Below All to just get a double tap on the midline, then maybe you need to think, okay, maybe my commentary would be, I need to think about when I use One Below All, like which matchups, because I think if you can displace Eyehawk really well, like so the enemy can, having both bump options can be really good, like bump, One Below All, leap, get you really far. But if you think you're going to use it to punish a midline, you're basically paying 2 power for an extra attack, which is good. But like that could be bats, and you could just walk, bump, attack them. And I don't know. There's just this like theory of like I think really comes down to my mind is 2 power is worth an attack all on its own. But then you think of the incremental value of like bats, where you don't need it turn 1. You don't have to use it, right? If you burn One Below All and blow up the person you're attacking in one go, then you kind of wasted it, right? If you whiff both attacks, it feels really bad. If you whiff one attack, the thing is, you also need to get 3 power to get your throw on, where you only need 1 power. Now it's 3 power and 2 attacks versus 1 power and 1 attack for walk, bump, and want to get the throw. But also, like, if you're like, I want to punch Rhino and get him off the point and throw him into his extract carrier. If you have bats, you can guarantee the throw turn 1 on your trigger, where you can't do that with One Below All. You have to roll it. But also, like, if things go well or you whiff, that's it. If you go up, you walk, bump, attack, and just whiff it, you can just sit there and say, I've done nothing. I made 1 attack. I didn't burn a card. Bats is in the back pocket. Let's go to the next turn. If you One Below All bump whiff your first attack, right? You're now saying, I haven't done anything. I can make another attack. I have 0 power, so I better do 3 on my next one, or I can't throw. I don't know. I just feel like there's a world where having bats is better than One Below All sometimes, and I want to explore that idea more. And I didn't take it in one of my games after I thought about it the night before, and I took bats instead. And I feel like it might be right, or even recal or something. Just saying, all right, I'm going to get a little bit less movement. I might lose an attack, but now I have really strong, like, other cards that are more useful in other situations. I'm also going to say, with bats, Heroes for Hire, I really need to burn them, like, when it's really good. Like, sometimes I wait for that, like, perfect moment to do it. And I really just need to, no pun intended, let it rip. Grip it and rip it. Just let it rip and, like, do the good thing. Heroes for Hire, the attack. Don't, like, risk it. Just get it off of them. Stuff like that. But yeah, thoughts. I might play Convocation next. We'll see if any changes come. But yeah, that's it. You'll hear more about squad goals over time, but just not more of this video. Thanks for listening. See ya.